Chapter 8 Jupiter System The Shadow Star. Alice's stealth vessel finally cruised into the hangar of Rain's Eclipse. The dull hum of the engines faded as it settled in, the once sleek ship now looking a bit worse for wear after the run through Jupiter's dust rings. Captain John Torridon and Athena Somerset stood waiting by the dock, arms crossed, both eyeing the ship with varying degrees of skepticism. The docking bay hummed with residual energy from the last arrival, overhead lights casting harsh white arcs across the hangar floor. Air compressors sighed somewhere in the walls. John stood with his arms folded, boots planted wide apart, his posture relaxed, but eyes constantly flicking to the sealed airlock door. Athena stood beside him, back rigid, her fingers absently tapping against the datapad cradle in her arm. The silence between them wasn't uncomfortable, just expectant. John stole a glance at Athena. She didn't look at him, just kept staring at the door like it owed her something.
So, this is it. We finally get to meet our new mystery crew member.
Athena exhaled, but it wasn't quite a sigh.
I've seen a lot of recruits, John. I'm not usually easy to impress.
Come on, Athena. You've got to have a little faith in the team.
That made her shift her weight slightly. Not a scoff, but close.
Team? More like a bunch of strays we keep picking up.
Oh, I'm sure these strays will manage to impress you, eventually.
Presuming, of course, they remember what rational thought looks like, and can manage not to set themselves on fire while attempting it.
She stepped into the bay with silent precision. Lieutenant Alice Aldrin, hair pulled back, armored flight jacket still dusted with transport grit. Her eyes were sharp and always moving, scanning. Every pipe, every person, every bolt in the deck.
Lieutenant Alice Aldrin, at your service.
Pardis, Lieutenant Aldrin.
Alice gave a clipped nod in return as she stepped down from the ramp. Her posture wasn't rigid, but measured, like she was always calculating angles. Her eyes swept the hangar one more time before settling on John and Athena.
It's good to meet you, Alice. For a lone pilot to thread that needle and come out breathing, I'd call that more than impressive. I'd call it improbable.
Athena met John's gaze.
I'll have a basic infiltration plan ready once I analyze the data from Shadowstar.
Athena sounded like she knows what she is doing, but there was always something in her voice. A tone that suggested more questions than answers. John raising an eyebrow.
So, this outpost, did you get a sense of what we're dealing with?
On the surface, just looks like an overprotected mining station, Captain.
Interesting. Mining stations don't usually need that much protection unless they've got something worth hiding.
Alice didn't reply, but her silence spoke volumes. She hadn't seen anything extraordinary, but that didn't mean it wasn't there, lurking just beneath the surface.
Since Athena is busy, Alice, you are welcome to join me and my first officer, Will, for a short meal.
He stepped aside and gestured down the corridor, boots echoing as the two of them turned toward the crew quarters. Behind them, the hangar lights dimmed again, the airlock sealing shut like a secret. The trio sat in the artificial gravity lounge, a steaming dish of stew in front of them. It wasn't fancy, but after weeks of ration packs, it might as well have been a feast. Alice, savoring a bite.
It's been weeks since I had a proper meal, even though Shadowstar has a pretty impressive stock of snacks.
Will, grinning.
I've never actually seen your ship before.
Me neither, not before Vesta, but it's a local legend, supposedly built there in secret.
John, leaning back.
So what can it do, other than being a flying snack bar?
It's stealthy, Captain. Very stealthy. Pretty fast, too.
Alice, wasn't it terrifying traveling all that way alone? I mean, there must have been times when you felt, I don't know, isolated.
Alice, rolling her eyes.
If you count listening to hacked mercenary chatter as entertainment, then no, not really. Beats scanning empty sectors of Vesta for fun.
Well, hopefully, you won't be flying solo much longer. Not to mention, It's just a matter of time before the Nova Concordia identify us. The only reason they haven't already is because Rain's Eclipse runs with the same engine heat signatures they do.
John leaned forward slightly, elbows on the mess table, voice low but edged with curiosity.
Alice, tell us something about yourself.
Will smirked, the corner of his mouth barely twitching.
No pressure, of course. Just your entire soul laid bare over reconstituted stew.
There was a brief pause as Alice placed her cup down with deliberate care. Her gaze didn't waver, but it didn't quite settle either, somewhere between distant stars and the here and now.
I flew interceptors, mostly fast response units. Bite, retreat, bite again. Long-range stealth craft are a different animal. Less fight, more patience. I'm still learning to listen to the quiet.
She tapped the table once, fingers echoing against the alloy.
Flying's the only time things made sense. No static, no arguments, just movement. My family didn't quite share that sentiment. Thought I was running from something.
A dry laugh, too brittle to be real.
They weren't wrong. This kind of life doesn't leave much room for romantic entanglements either. Hard to love someone you only see between docking sequences and near-death encounters.
She looked up, finally, eyes sharp again, grounded.
Other than that, I like cats. They don't ask for explanations.
Will raised an eyebrow. John just nodded once, as if the silence that followed said more than any resume ever could. John's voice dropped, heavy with unspoken weight.
Ironically, speaking of relationships, Dr. Lana Skye, the kidnapped scientist, is my girlfriend.
He let the words hang in the stale air, as if naming her brought both hope and a curse.
Will, turning serious.
Captain, now that we know we are likely this close to Lana, you must be worried.
Yeah, Will, I am. I really hope she can keep herself out of trouble. Not sure that's her specialty, though.
Suddenly, Athena's voice crackled over the comms.
Captain, everyone's invited to the briefing room. I've got the intel ready, and you'll need to make some decisions.
John, pushing his plate away.
So be it. Time to see what we are dealing with.
A dry laugh, too brittle to be real. It had been nearly a month since Dr. Lana Skye was captured and brought to Amalthea Outpost. Life had settled into a grim routine. Breakfast with the mercenaries and engineers, a quiet truce between captors and the outpost staff. Every day she walked from her quarters down into the depths of the alien facility beneath the station. The strange geometry of the place, corridors that felt older than human history, was familiar to her now, even if it still made her uneasy. Mercenary guards shadowed her wherever she went, their presence constant but less oppressive over time. Despite everything, she'd gotten used to them. They weren't brutal, just doing a job. And they'd even become something close to friendly. They didn't talk much at first, but after a few weeks, they'd started bringing her coffee, even lunch when she was too absorbed in her work to take a break. Small gestures in the cold, metallic isolation of Amalthea. The guards weren't the worst part. It was the waiting. Until one day, Lana made a silent breakthrough. She had noticed the similarity in style of the writings long ago, but it was the discovery of a few familiar symbols that set things into motion. These symbols, while not present in actual Sumerian, Assyrian, or Babylonian writings in the same way, resonated with her. They were typically seen in the art of the Neo-Assyrian Empire, depictions of a protective spirit and eagle-headed figure. The head and full figure of this eagle-headed person appeared repeatedly among the texts. Slowly, the pieces fell into place. Lana could finally read and understand almost all of it. The room she found herself in resembled an experimental production facility. The computers, she realized, were voice-activated through the ancient language she was decoding.
Lana decided to try the language orally.
Mamsi. Oltaga.
which translated to enabled a facility. Instantly, the room came alive. Holographic displays flickered on, showing streams of information. Lana's heart raced. She knew she could now operate the facility. But a nagging doubt remained. What would happen if she told Logan Severance, the unpredictable man overseeing their mission? She pushed the thought aside. The facility's database revealed an extensive inventory, including weaponry. Lana skimmed the production matrix, a lattice of alien schematics and untranslated glyphs sprawled like nervous systems across the interface. Her eyes tracked line after line, not searching for salvation. She no longer believed in such things, but for something. A fragment of hope wrapped in alloy, a machine or module or unnamed relic that might, just might, tip the scale when the guards came for her in earnest. She didn't expect to survive. The calculus of Amalthea was too precise for that. But if she could find anything, a defense field, a cloaking veil, something with teeth or wings or time-twisting inertia, then perhaps she could cheat death for one more corridor. Not escape exactly. Escape was a fantasy. But a breach? A rupture? A crack in the inevitability of this moon? That was worth bleeding for. Buried deep in the alien manifest, half described in indecipherable glyphs and cold technical notation, was a line of text that curved toward familiarity. Combat armor, neural interface enabled, Homo sapiens compatible. Her breath caught. Not just armor, not a suit. Something designed for protection. Something that erases the line between intention and execution. It hadn't been made for her, but now, in this forgotten tomb of machines and ghosts, it might as well have been. With slight hesitation, Lana initiated the production of enigmatic combat armor with a mind-controlled interface. Beams in the center of the circular room began assembling something. However, it wasn't what she expected. Instead, a shiny metallic sphere about 50 centimeters in diameter took shape. Curious, Lana approached the floating sphere and commanded,
Sakanu.
"Activate," in alien language. The moment she spoke, the sphere morphed, hovering and shifting towards her. She watched, stunned, as the heavy substance adhered to her spacesuit, spreading across her body. It felt cold and disconcerting. As the metal enveloped her, Lana fell to her knees, pain radiating randomly through her. The liquid metal was forming some sort of combat armor, an intricate, dark, scaled, at places metallic, organic-looking spacesuit. From her back, 4 40-centimeter-long inset blades emerged. The pain in her body intensified, and she screamed, feeling a foreign presence invading her mind. When the guards breached the room, they hesitated, not from fear, but from a failure of recognition. The figure before them appeared humanoid, female in proportion, but the resemblance ended there. She was encased in a matte, black carapace of unfamiliar alloy, its surface absorbing light in a way that defied easy optics. At certain points, along the arms, across the spine, around the throat, the armor flowed, subtly and continuously, like mercury manipulated by invisible fields. It was adjusting itself, responding to something, breathing perhaps. The guards outside, alerted by her screams, burst into the room. Lana fell silent, their rifles aimed at her. From within the armor, a sound emerged, not a voice, not language, but a high, discordant modulation that prickled against the subdermal implants in their necks. The nearest guard flinched, weapon half raised. Another checked his HUD, confirming no friendly tags. The sound she unleashed clawed through the air, a jagged, shrill keening pitched so unbearably that even the guards, encased in their armored shells, jerked their hands up to shield ears that armor couldn't truly protect. The guards began to raise their rifles, slowly, preparing to fire. A voice echoed in Lana's head.
You're not alone in this, though you may wish you were.
Without consciously deciding, Lana's thoughts directed the blades. They levitated, poised like serpents ready to strike. The first blade slashed through one guard's neck, another pierced his chest. Blood sprayed, the guards fell, and Lana felt a dark, powerful presence taking hold. The second guard met the same fate, the mind-controlled blades cutting through human armor and flesh effortlessly. She realized the terrifying potential of what she had unleashed. Lana stood amid the pooling blood of the two men. Rick, Dan. She knew their names. Knew their faces in half-light and cafeteria banter. She had eaten breakfast with them that very morning. Had stirred protein sludge and laughed at a joke too crude to be remembered. They had stood between her and her freedom. Now they lay butchered on the floor, twitching vessels of silence. And she had done it. The armor encasing her body glinted beneath the harsh white lights, sleek faceted metal in deep gunmetal tones. It looked designed, but not by human hands. The plating joined with impossible precision at her joints, humming faintly as if it were aware of her breath. High-tech, yes, but ancient too. In the way that only something too advanced to explain can seem. It was not something she wore. It had become something she was. The four blade-like appendages that had erupted from her back were retracting now, folding cleanly along magnetic seams, hissing slightly as they locked into resting positions. Their surfaces bore the stain of fresh blood, but they gleamed, immaculate, indifferent, as if they'd done only what they were made to do. And Lana? She did not feel triumphant. She did not even feel afraid. What she felt, what rattled her deeper than the scream still echoing off the chamber's vault, was the absence. The absence of hesitation. The absence of guilt. The absence of anything that resembled the human recoil from taking a life. Something fundamental had been bypassed. Some cognitive lock had been lifted without her knowing. The choice to kill had been made faster than thought. Clean, flawless, inevitable. As though her brain had been recoded by the suit's combat routines. Strike first, strike clean, no faltering, no mourning. It was a dream from the darkest depths of the defense industry. A living weapon, draped in alloy, governed not by conscience, but by efficiency. But Lana Skye had never held a weapon in anger. She had never been trained to kill. She had never wanted to. And yet she stood now, armored in alien combat suit, flanked by the bodies of two men she might have joked with again tomorrow. And the thing that truly terrified her was not what she had done, but how easy it had been. The suit whirred softly as she moved, reactive to her micro-gestures. Her hands curled, not in regret, but in readiness. A part of her was already scanning for the next threat. She didn't intend it. The response simply came, automatic, reflexive. Beneath the exoskeletal plating, she felt the whisper again. Not language, not thought, just invitation. Power, clarity, dominance. Lana staggered back from the corpses, her breath shallow. She tried to conjure grief, to force shame, but the emotions arrived like faulty transmissions, garbled, weak, distant. Something has gone wrong, she thought. Then she reconsidered. No. Something has changed.
This is the end of a promotional version of The Sons of a Fractured Space. You can purchase entire audiobook on www.kobo.com. They are 33 chapters in total. The whole audiobook is around 12 hours long. The link to purchase full audiobook is available in the description of this video. The production team sincerely thanks you for your support. It means a lot to us.